off starting goalie and any lineup changes?
Carter and net. Jennings. It's Jennings. That's what was told to me. Yes. Seals is out. Bellows is out. Tony's out. That's about everybody.
What were the reports you got on Jennings that made him a guy that you wanted to get a look at up here for at least one of these next years?
Yeah, and it's been a while now. We've gotten good reports. He's played a physical game. He's in the way, not afraid to be in the way. They just like how he's played. He's moved the puck well. I don't know who he is. I don't remember if he was in camp or not in camp. I don't remember who he is, but I'm really anxious to see him play because for now, a couple of months, we've gotten some really good reports.
Who do you plan to pair him with?
Not sure.
John, when we spoke to you the other day, you said that you hadn't spoken to Tony as of a couple days ago. Have you spoken to him since then?
I think the way I answered that, I think the question was that night. I had not spoken to him that night. I had spoken to Tony prior, yes. Yep.
Where would you say that relationship is?
I'm
Obviously,
not going to discuss it with you guys. Yeah, he's out. And I've talked to him. He knows where he stands with me, and that's where we're going to go with it.
is he going to play at all?
I'm not going to get into a conversation with you about that.
John, is Darryl going to get one of the final two games?
Yes, in Chicago. Vinny Viola is on the bench tonight with us. I think it's the first time he's been out of that damn office and showing us clips, and he's going to be on the bench tonight. Adam won't do it. Adam wants to stay in the office, so Vinny's going to be on the bench. Rock will coach tonight, and Willie coaches tomorrow. Thursday, excuse me.
Why Vinny? Why did you want to get him on the bench tonight? Why was it important to give him?
Because I think he works his ass off, and he's never seen a game from the NHL level on a bench. He's from the area. I did it in Columbus with the video coaches there. I've done it everywhere. To get him out of that office and see what it's like instead of being on that computer the whole night long for years. So he's excited, and I'm excited for him.
How important would you say it is to enter the offseason on a high note with regards to getting a few wins these last couple games, or does it not matter that much at all because you don't think there is much carryover into?
I don't think there's any carryover, but you always want to win. You know, what do we? What's our last? Is seven? You want to win, no matter what's going on. Does it carry over? No. Winning or losing, it doesn't. But our guys have. It's for the guy. They've played hard. They have stayed with it, and we have found ways to lose some games when we have a chance to win and play close enough to lose. We're having problems sustaining for a full 60. That's why we lose some games. And yeah, but we're always looking to try to win. But it comes summertime, come June, we won't even be thinking about it.
John, I don't know how much you worked with or knew Rocky or Darryl before you started here, but what have you learned about them? What have you liked about working with them? What have you learned about them? What they've brought to the staff?
I knew Darryl in Vancouver. He was my video coach there in Van. Rocky, I did not know. Darryl Williams, we've given him some more responsibility this year. He has impressed me as far as how he's gone about his business. Very detailed, very organized. I think has some really good thoughts about how you're supposed to play the game. So I'm really impressed with him, where I haven't really given him the opportunities he's had this year. In Van, it was basically a video coach. And Rocky blew me away with his interview when I was interviewing coaches. A number of coaches in the league were chasing him down. I think we almost lost him. We were waiting on another guy, and Chuck wanted to keep waiting. And then finally I said, I don't want to wait on the guy anymore. I want Rocky, because just talking to people that knew him and the interview process I went with him, it was the right call. He's a very bright guy, presents very well, which I think is very important, and I think has he's got some conviction to him, and he's not going to sit there and yeah to me. He's going to tell me if he thinks I'm wrong, and has a number of times this year. That's what I like about him. He's just not going to sit in the corner and listen and agree. He has stepped up in all year long as far as what he thinks should be done in certain situations.
It is probably one of the most improved players this year. You talked about how good of a listener he is. How important is that as a young player to be able to listen and then apply what you're telling him actually to the game?
Yeah, I think he's very coachable. I think with today's athlete, they want to be part of more of the conversation, which is great. But sometimes they're bad listeners. They so want to get their point across, they don't listen that well. I haven't had a problem with that with these guys here. Well, there's 2 or 3 guys that we've had to go through a windy road and understanding that. But Tip is, I just think he's beginning to understand what type of player he can be. I think this is a breakout year for him, not so much point-wise and all that, because I think that's going to add on. I just think he's beginning to find out who he is and what he can do, and not other people saying what he can and cannot do. He's figuring it out on his own through some of the experience he's gone through. So it's a really exciting process for the coaches, and I'm sure for him.
How much has he raised the bar for himself?
Yeah, that's what happens when you show us we want more, and he's still a fairly young guy. We're going to ask for even more. I think that's one of the biggest positives in the second half of this year. His dipping when he doesn't play a good game early on was you couldn't find him. I think as the season's gone on, he may not have played his best game, but he still had some juice for us, still did some things. He didn't fall off. I think that's been a really good progression from him as the year's gone on.
I know Nick Seeler isn't playing tonight, but you've been very complimentary of him and his role over the last little bit as the Masterton nominee for this team. What have you learned him as a person more so? Because he's obviously been through a lot over the last couple of years and getting back into hockey.
What is the depth? We've talked about the Norris, and what is the Masterton? What is perseverance? Yeah, well, there you go. That's him all over. The best thing about Seals and in his little area of the team and what we expect out of him, he could be, in the back end, I think him and Risto are probably the 2 most improved players since the season started. Risto's does different things than Seals does, but what Seals is what we expect out of him and what we want out of him, he's really improved. But the thing that draws you to him is just he's a team guy. He's a glue guy. And they're very important, especially when you're building. And just how he carries himself each and every practice, each and every game. It is nothing but everything he has, those particular events when he's playing or practicing.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.